What's up everyone, Soldier First Class here. In today's mission, we'll be going over the top 10 things you didn't know about Final Fantasy VII. With the Final Fantasy VII Remake coming, I thought it was time to revisit the original and talk about some awesome behind the scenes information. Number 10, the Buster Sword. As iconic as it is, the Buster Sword has some mystery around it. Mainly, how does it stay on Cloud's back since it appears to be such a heavy sword? One would think it would fall off, hinder movement, etc. However, did you know on Cloud's back, held up by his signature suspenders, is a magnet? This holds the Buster Sword in place. Other wielders such as Zack Fair and Angel Hewley can also be seen with this magnet on their backs. This seems to be standard issue with the regular Soldier First Class armor. Number 9, Cloud and Tifa. At the end of Disc 2, Cloud and Tifa have a heart-to-heart chat. It's implied heavily that the two engage in some physical activity. According to the developers, the scene was supposed to play out a lot differently and would have left less to the imagination. They were originally supposed to come out of a chocobo stable, disheveled and white-faced. Talk about walk of shame. Number 8, development cost. While most games today cost on average around the $20 to $25 million mark to make, did you know Final Fantasy VII had a budget of $45 million back in 1997? That's roughly $65 million by today's standards. Including $100 million in marketing, that's $145 million on one game. If you want to include the inflation of 2019, that's a whopping $226 million by today's standard. One would think, however, that the company would have made that money back in all of the ports we've received over the years. Sony must have really trusted Sakaguchi to produce one of the greatest games of all time. Number 7, Oh How the Mighty Have Fallen. While Sephiroth does have many forms in the game, his final form would lead you to believe that this would be his most powerful form. But did you know with the use of a Game Shark device, you can actually see that Sephiroth only has 1 HP. That's the lowest amount of HP in the entire game. This not only makes him the weakest boss in all of Final Fantasy VII, but also the weakest enemy in the entire game. Number 6, Purple Haze. Nobuo Uematsu is one of the most important music composers in all of gaming, but did you know he's a huge rock music fan? One Winged Angel is directly inspired by rock legend Jimi Hendrix and his song Purple Haze. If you play the two songs side by side, the intro to both songs are almost identical, only with a little Uematsu twist included. Not surprising for a guy whose original music inspiration was Elton John and is also a founding member of the rock band The Black Mages. Number 5, Pick Your Poison. Emerald and Ruby Weapon are two of the most iconic optional boss fights in the history of gaming. Many a gamer has fallen prey to their destructive powers, but did you know that they weren't even in the launch version of Final Fantasy VII in Japan? Instead, they were exchanged for a higher random encounter rate throughout the game. This begs the question, would you trade the rewards, rage, and frustration for more random encounters? Personally, I think I'd like to take pride and satisfaction of dropping these two titans in battle. Number 4, Great Gospel. The most tragic death in video game history, or at least the most shocking, Aerith's death was one of the most impactful moments of the game. However, for those looking for some closure, did you know that she can be seen one last time? If you re-enter the church where you first met her, you will see what appears to be Aerith tending to her garden. She'll then disappear, and none of the NPCs will acknowledge that she was there. It's not known whether this was intended as an Easter egg, or if clipping issues with her sprite and bad programming are to blame for this one. I'd like to believe that this is the developer's way of giving Cloud, and the player for that matter, some much needed closure. Number 3, Cloud STRIFE is on the case. Final Fantasy VII was supposed to take place in New York City, and Cloud was supposed to be an investigator named Detective Joe. However, with the death of Hironobu Sakaguchi's mother, the entire plot and cast of characters were redesigned into the version we see today. It's insane how real-life events can have an effect on something of this magnitude and lead to one of the greatest games ever made. Number 2, Marlboro Reds. FF7 had several concept changes and even platform changes, but did you know that it was originally designed for the Nintendo 64? Due to cartridge limitations, the deal was scrapped and the game made its new home on the PlayStation 1. They also spent a little money taking shots at cartridge games. The line, "Someone please get the guys who make cartridge games a cigarette and a blindfold," was featured on promotional ads for the game, but that wasn't all they had to say. Good thing, if it were available on cartridge, it would retail for around $1,200. Turns out, Square and Sony had zero chill in 1997. Number 1, based on a true story. Aerith's death is such a major event, you'd almost think it was always supposed to be that way, but did you know that she was not originally supposed to die? As we talked about in entry number 4, series creator Hironobu Sakaguchi had lost his mother during the development of Final Fantasy VI. After several plot and character changes, the decision was made to have Aerith die at the hands of Sephiroth. Sakaguchi wanted to show that death was final and that things were different than what kids were used to seeing in current media. He thought he should show the kids playing this game that death had consequences and that no kiss from a prince or magic power can bring back those you love. This was a deep element and core theme of the compilation. That's pretty deep story development for a video game in the 90s. Did you enjoy these facts?
There's not a thing I don't cherish.
Thanks for watching, and don't forget to omni-slash that like button. Let me know in the comments section below if you didn't know something on the list. Subscribe to the channel, and ring that notification bell to join the ranks of Soldier today. And for everything Final Fantasy VII, I'm Soldier First Class, and I'm on to the next mission. Later, guys.